Hi everyone, we are honored to have multi-talented artist Jonathan Wong coming to our show.
It seemed like a miracle. I saw an image. It's like etched out. There was an outline of Mary, and then she was holding Jesus. But the ultimate purpose is to really find that language of love and spread that as far as I can.
Before we start, please remember to subscribe so you won't miss any of our upcoming programs. Light, camera, action.
Hello, hi, Jonathan.
Hello.
So good
Hi,
to see you. Welcome to our show.
You are now working busily in Vancouver and about to go to LA, so we really appreciate your time. You are a multi-talented singer-songwriter, dancer, choreographer, and actor, appearing frequently on movies and TV programs. You and the performing team won rounds of applause at the Matteo Ricci musical. Could you share with us, are there any hidden talents yet to be unleashed?
I think, well, this is where I started, right? I started in music, and then I went into acting, so in television dramas and movies. I mean, I honestly don't consider myself like a professional musical theater actor. I mean, I'm very privileged. I got to act in Matteo Ricci, which is a very professional, very inspirational, very artistic production with very, very talented cast. You know, Chen Yi is also a co-star who I love. I mean, I'm mostly in music and acting, and then in recent years, I've gone into producing as well. Some people may know me from producing music programs. I've also produced award shows, concerts, and right now I'm in Vancouver because I'm producing an English language TV series. So that's one of the projects I've been working on over the past couple of years, hoping to bridge the cultural gap between the East and West through really good, authentic stories. That's what I'm into right now.
Gee, your call sheet is very long, and I know you're not afraid to share your faith as a Christian.
Talking about sharing my faith, I think Matteo Ricci had a really interesting role to play in that because when Mr. Damien Lau, Lau Chongyan 先生, when he approached me about this project, that was when I was shooting a TV series with him and Wang Mingqun, Miss Lisa Wang, and we got to meet each other on set. And at that time, I had no scenes with him, zero. Like I was mostly shooting with Lisa Jie. But then there was one incident in which I had a really difficult scene to act. For me, it was difficult. And Lisa Jie knew that Chong Gao, Lau Chongyan, was nearby, and she asked him to come speak to me, just very briefly. Hey, look at the script. Like, how can you help this young man? And then that was kind of how we got to know each other. After the whole shooting was done, he said, "Hey, I have this show I want to work on. It's about a historical figure. It's about this radical missionary from Italy during the Renaissance period who wants to go to China. I'm not really a theater guy. I know you do some stage and theater stuff. Would you like to work on it? I mean, it would be my honor." But then after 5 years of just like on and off taking meetings and then developing the thing with him, he kind of became more and more clear about what he wanted me to do. So other than helping with the production side, he said, "Hey, can you play Matteo Ricci, Lei Ma Dao?" And I was very hesitant because I said, "Hey, I share, with people about my faith and about what that's given me, the grace that it's bestowed on me. But playing such an important religious and historical character, I don't know if I have the kind of qualifications. I don't know if I can stand on stage, say the things he says, right, and represent that, and then feel authentic." Because, that level of commitment, he basically committed his entire life, right, to missionary work. And also it's Catholicism, which I'm not as familiar with, right? When you talk about Protestant Christianity, Catholicism is the culture of it, the history of it is very unfamiliar to me. So I don't know if I feel comfortable with that. And so we back and forth until he was like, "You know what?" It was him and Yan Sanfu, Yan Bodek Sanfu. Yan Bodek Sanfu said, "You're not actually Matteo Ricci. Nobody is. Matteo Ricci is Matteo Ricci. You are part of a piece of art that tells the story of Matteo Ricci.
Right.
Your role happens to be him, but we are all playing that role. We're just in different positions. So don't feel the pressure like you have to represent him." Nobody knew really what he was like. This was before the time of videotapes, cameras. We don't really know what he looks like, act like. We can only guess. So let's all take an attempt at trying to spread that virtue. And so when you ask me, I haven't been afraid to share with people my faith, but when it came to Matteo Ricci, the musical, I was hesitant to take on such a big role. But 5 years since its debut, I think it's touched so many lives. We've done almost 30 shows. Yeah, it's been an honor.
That's no coincidence in life. Looking back, I think it's God's plan.
God doesn't call the qualified, He qualifies the called.
Could you share with us what brought you to Jesus in the first place?
Yeah, this is interesting. When I was in Hong Kong studying until I was 15 years old, at first I went to Sengongwei, which was, 教會學校, right? Religious. There's a lot of 教會學校 in Hong Kong. I didn't really register any of that. I was too young. I didn't understand it. It was, people sing songs and I sing songs. We all kind of know the stuff, but not really. It wasn't until high school when I went to the US that I had understood the concept of chapel. So we had every week, they called it non-denominational chapel. People who practice Judaism, Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity, everybody could go and listen to, they didn't call them sermons, there was talks by different teachers, and those teachers came from different faiths.
Right.
And then I slowly understood, what it means to gather in like a place that is peaceful, that is blessed. And when we give ourselves to this moment and once a week to commit ourselves to serving a higher purpose. Yeah. And because we didn't really call it worship, right? At that point, it was just like Tangdole. We were listening to these talks. And it wasn't until I graduated from high school and then graduated from college. And then, America is a very Christian country. During high school and during college, I fell in love with two types of music, R&B, rhythm and blues, and then with gospel music. Actually, through gospel music that I started to really understand the word of God better. Because as a musician, I was really moved by this music. And I was, okay, there's so many songs in the world, right? There's so many singers, so many messages. Why am I so moved by gospel music in particular? That's when I was like, okay, this I understand is worship now, because I felt my soul moving. My current musical style when I write is very much influenced by the gospel still, even if lyrically I'm not always writing about the gospel. It moved me. And so that's when I started to really get into it, try to understand. I tried to read, I tried to pray and worship. And it was very easy to find friends who were Christians. They're everywhere. America is very Christian. But skip forward, I graduated, I came back to Hong Kong. I started my career as an artist. I think it wasn't as easy for me to stay in touch with God. I think I was very caught up in my own thing. I was like, trying to make my career, trying to succeed. And there are a lot of times when it's about, yes, I have this concept that I need to give back, that I've been bestowed a certain gift and I have to give back. But it was still pretty self-centered, a lot of the times. Even if I'm trying to do positive things, I'm still thinking about how I can do it, how I fit into the world. I. There's a lot of that, right? Me. Again, it was back to Matteo Ricci. And when I finally took on the project, after very convincing sharing from Yenbo Daksampu and Mr. Damien Lau, there was a moment in rehearsal. It was the first run, 2019. Because our set is so big, we had to actually rehearse in a film studio, like where you shoot movies. It was a green screen at that point because they were getting ready for another thing. Our team had rented out a big space because we have this big set pieces. We're running through the show, top to bottom. And I remember there is a long monologue at the end of the play. It talks about how Yugasis, Confucianism, and Catholicism or Christianity, how they're actually the same. They talk about the same things, but they just come from different theoretical or historical contexts. Honestly, that monologue is so hard to say. In Cantonese, we would say 唔係人講嘅嘢嚟嘅. It's theological, it's philosophical, it's not emotional. But then I have to convince the audience. I have to make them feel it for what seemed like forever, right? Because it's like I was so scared to say it. I was like, wow, how am I going to hold this audience for so long, saying a thing that I don't fully understand.
Right.
So for months during rehearsal, I struggled with that monologue. Months. I didn't know how to say it. The rest of the play, okay, I could still handle it. That particular monologue, I was not convinced. I didn't know how to do it. And then just one day, you know what? I give up. I'm not going to try and say this thing. I'm not going to try and design it. You know, whatever happens, happens. Somebody up there, if you can hear me, tell me how you want me to do this. And then I looked at that very green, you know, the green screen they do for like special effects. It's all green. There's nothing there. And then as I finally told myself, okay, I give up. I relinquish control. Tell me what to do. In the green screen, I saw, seemed like a miracle. I saw an image. It's like etched out. There was an outline of Mary, and then she was holding Jesus. Appeared. It was pretty crazy.
You can literally see it.
I literally saw it in the green screen. I saw that image float up. I was like, oh, what's happening? You know, just like this, just holding baby Jesus. In that moment, I stopped thinking. The words just came. It was also very hard to memorize, but at that moment, I didn't need to memorize anything. It just became my words. And then tears started streaming down my face. I couldn't control it because I said, oh, wow, I understand it finally. I think that was the moment when I finally felt that, okay, I can really give myself up to the Lord and really believe in a higher power. It's not to say that I don't try or I don't work hard or I'm still doing all my things, but when there are important things and decisions to be made, you have to believe that there's something bigger at play, that there's a bigger purpose. And one of our jobs or missions in life is to find our purpose, right? And to walk that path. And so that was a moment was like, oh, okay, I understand for the first time, you know, stop making it about how hard I work and how clever I am and how much I can do things. Let go. And once you let go, just miracles happen, right? And that was the first time I was really, okay, it's undeniable. I see you. Okay. Even thinking about it right now, like it physically feel it in your body, right? At that moment, when I saw that image, I felt a pair of hands on my shoulders calmly rest themselves on my shoulders. And it was like to say, it's okay, be brave, it's okay. And that stayed with me. That confidence, that knowledge of the presence of God stayed with me. So that's a gift. I think that to me is the real testimony. Yeah.
Hearing people say that let go and let God reiterate that the need to
put our trust in God because He is faithful.
Yeah.
How are you going to invite other people to come and see the love of Jesus?
A really important part of understanding God's love is to first learn how to you love yourself, right? Like you imagine He loves you. And then you have to really practice loving others. I know it sounds like almost too easy, but if you're able to do just that, that alone will put you on a path to really discovering what your purpose is. Because a lot of people say that you have to fall on hard times to really understand who God is. He chooses the broken and He holds you and He protects you and then He guides you. In a way, yes, but also the easiest way to practice being speaking God's word or walking that path is just to practice loving. Loving not like, oh, I'm going to buy you things, not like, oh, mom, I love you, but like really give yourself to caring for someone, to caring for family, for friends. In my case, also my audience, right? Like when I'm doing my performances, when I'm doing art, it's not just about like, did I do it good? Do you love me? It's like, what am I doing to love you? How do I help you love yourself? That practice alone will really open your eyes to a much greater love, a greater power.
I've been hearing you say about finding one's purpose. Is being an artist your purpose?
Yeah, I would say that is a tool. Do I still get nervous when I perform? And yes, I still get nervous because I care, because I want to do a good job. But whenever I pray before I go on stage, before I go on set in front of the camera, or before I go into a recording booth to record a song, if ever I feel unsure, I remind myself that I'm an instrument to let that energy flow through me. That is the point. Whatever opportunities I have, whatever place I'm in, whatever inspiration I have, there's a purpose that is flowing through me and flowing through me now. So to catch that and then to release it into the world with as much passion and love as I can, that is the real purpose. So it's not just repeating what I think is good, you know, singing the same song on the same stage. I don't think that's enough. I think I'm being called to a greater purpose. That's why, I'm in Vancouver now. I will be in LA in a couple of weeks. I was in Korea to develop some other stuff, and it was in Japan. My calling is to bring these stories to different cultures, to bring it to the world, to learn so I can be a better vessel, better instrument, and to understand the world that hopefully I'm serving. So I think that is the purpose. To sing, to dance, to act, to write, to produce, I think these are tools. These are my instruments.
Right.
But the ultimate purpose is to really find that language of love and then spread that as far as I can.
That sounds awesome. I pray that Almighty God will continue to use you as His vessel to convey His love to the corners of the earth. Thanks for such an inspiring testimony. Have a fruitful journey and see you again soon. Goodbye.
See you. Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. Please remember to CSL, especially to subscribe so you won't miss any of our upcoming programs. Bye for now. See you next week. God bless you.